Welcome to the first episode of h23. This is my first guest, Adam Nergal Darski, my former bandmate and a friend of mine since 1999 when we met. And we met here in Wrocław, in this beautiful place called Rextor Metalwork, to talk a little bit about whatever comes to our minds, basically. But there was an interesting and a very important event happening last night.
Yes.
And I'd like to start with that because Cut is, I think it's a band that you grew up with a bit earlier than I did, because I'm like 5 years younger than you before. But I also grew up with Cut, like before we met. So it's kind of a nice coincidence, you know, that
I just think, you know, that like there's several generations of metalheads in Poland that just grew up on Cut because they've been there from day one pretty much. And, you know, it's just different generations, you know, that they would just catch up on that Cut train, so to say. So, and I wasn't the first generation, there were like people before me. It was like mid-80s, that 85, 86, when I heard Noca Szatana and Ostatni Tabor, which is the first single on the cassette, you know, and I was hooked right away. And ever since, you know, I've been a huge fan. So it's been like on and off, you know, with Cut, you know, just liking some stuff, not really liking some other stuff, but like altogether, it's been like absolutely like very like super significant band. You know,
it's legendary, right?
It's legendary. It's like extremely meaningful to my so-called like education and artistic process throughout life. You know, and I'm happy to call myself Roman's friend now. Or we're buddies, we're colleagues, stage friends, and like off stage we're good buddies as well, you know. So yeah, the event that took place here was like a huge show, like 3-hour long set with like 30 songs they did like throughout their whole career, and plenty of guests, and yeah, I was one of them. So that's why there's like remainings of that show still visible on my face, because I put like the full gear on and I performed a song called Porwane obłędem from Oddech Wymarłych Światów. And it was amazing. It was a huge event. It was very powerful. It was just a powerhouse. It was just something totally unprecedented. So
yeah, and the cause was very important as well, right?
Yeah, because Roman just has been like struggling with cancer for like a couple of years now, and it's on and off. It's better, it's worse, it's better, it's worse, you know. But basically, you know, just it like the goal is to raise funds for his recovery.
I visited the place for the sound check. You know, I missed the show because we were doing the pre-production here, but you know, the vibe that I experienced there when I came for the sound check, you know, and the amount of personalities like on the Polish metal scene in one place, that was like exceptional, like none other. And you just told me before we started talking here that you guys actually, like with Peter from Vader and Vogue from Decapitated and Titus, and there was like this pogo dance on stage at the end of the show, right?
Yeah, because Roman invited everyone on stage just to, you know, he introduced everyone, you know, so like all the guests, which were like in number 10 or more, like they all like entered the stage, and then he announced the song Metal i Piekło, Metal and Hell, and they started playing, and then it's like, okay, let's see how these guys dance, you know. And then I believe it was Peter, because I saw Peter starting the whole fight. And we just, you know, pulled me like into the crowd, and we just started like moshing around, and it was funny also, you know, because like all of us, like I was probably one of the youngest, but like let's say like 40s, even 50s, you know, like all fucking dancing like teenage girls, you know, in the middle of the stage. And laughing, and it
was like all of the generations of actually fans that became musicians. Were a part of that. Even that was amazing, you know.
So some were like myself, you know. I was a fan who became an artist, a musician, and then I became like a, you know, we kind of became partners with Cut, right? Because that's what happened, you know. But then also there were like still like some of the veterans of the scene, like Wojciech Hoffman from Turbo, and the other guys, and Titus from Acid Drinkers, you know. He's like an older friend of mine, you know. And these bands, you know, were there way before Behemoth, way before I even fucking started doing anything, you know. So it was a big deal. It was a big deal, and like a nice collab, you know, with all these personalities just mixed up
like
together.
the unity of the Polish scene.
Absolutely, but also like the vibes were super friendly too. There were like no shadow of like any animosity or no bullshit, basically, you know, just good laugh. And great metal. Stories, fueled with alcohol and metal, exactly, you know. So that's why I'm a little off today, but not very. I was a good boy last night, you know, and I caught my 8 hours sleep, so I'm okay today.
Well, but to close that, you know, the whole event was actually filmed, and there's going to be a DVD, right, released later on.
Let's hope for a Blu-ray, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys should definitely check out the band, because you know, all of you guys from like the international, you might not know Cut, and I think it's worth.
It is worth, even though it's all sang in Polish, you know. But then, you know, it's an amazing band, you know. So basically, if you're a thrash metal person, you're gonna love Cut. And it's just super special. But anyways, you know, even if you don't like it, fucking get the DVD, you know, because the money is gonna go against something very important. So just fucking do it.
Yeah. Full support for Roman.
Yeah. Nie ma kata bez Romana. Cheers to that.
Cheers. So, it's been a trip since we met for the first time.
Yes.
It's like what, 22 years now? Something like that. 1999, I think.
I'm so bad with math. But was it 99?
I think it was
around Satanic.
Yeah, because that was. I don't know if you remember the first time we met in that Burl place.
Yeah, I remember.
But the funny fact is that I had no idea who you are because nobody told me that you're coming. You know, and I remember I was coming from the art school that is in Gdynia. You know, and the place was in the suburbs of Gdańsk. You know, and I was late. Like really, because of the traffic and everything, and like 2 hours late, you know. And then I just entered that rehearsal room, which was kind of a venue as well, and that was the first band that I was actually playing, and you know, with the drummer, and then there was some guy standing there, you know, and like watching, and I didn't really think, you know, we were like hi, and I didn't really know who you are. And they didn't tell me after the sound check. I mean the rehearsals, you know. So I basically came to a rehearsal room and played a rehearsal like any other one. And you know, I will never forget that moment when you actually called my home, you know, because we didn't have cell phones, like stationary phones
back then, yeah.
and my mom picked up and everything, and like, you know, and then you actually asked me over the phone, you know, like, and I was like, how the fuck you know, I had no idea that you were there actually, and I was wondering how, you know, and then the guys told me, so did he call you, you know, and I remember this because this is like, for me, it was like, you know, I was 17, I was in the fucking high school, and this was like a groundbreaking change, and
game changer, right?
Game changer, totally. And that was actually, you know, soon, not long after, when my grandfather, you remember Hippolyte, right?
Of course.
And my grandfather was always like saying, you know, he was like, go against the stream, you know, don't care about what people say. And, you know, there's going to be a train passing by, you know, and it's just going to slow down at some point. And you never know when it's happening. But remember, there's going to be somebody showing up on the way sooner or later. And that's going to be your chance, you know. It's not going to stop the train, you know. It's just going to slow down by
run along and try to
jump on it, you know. So I remembered that when you called me, and I was like, okay, that's the train, you know. So I remember
I'm on a night train.
especially, I was a big fan, you know, always. Yeah, it was like, long story short, you know, the whole thing was a bit weird because I was so young. And I remember that my parents...
yeah, we had like official meeting.
Yeah, my mom was like, you know, I need to know this guy. And, you know, and then you had to come to our place. And what they saw was a regular dude, you know, and like, you know, and I think you got along with my parents ever since, you know, pretty well. And, yeah, just to close that, you know, the groundbreaking and changing, you know, when we, like the situation when we played in Krakow, and my parents came.
Yeah, a small shitty venue called, what was the name of that?
It was some kind of like forte, I don't know.
No.
It was a cellar, like
yeah, with this, what was the first show? And it was like close to the train station, railway station of Krakow. The venue's name was like Crocodile or something like that. That kind of name, like stupid name.
It was really very underground, like
it was super underground, but like the venue was packed. It was like what 300 kids, you know, packed, tied and sweaty and crazy too. Because I remember
and you know, I was never performing before. You know, that fall of 1999 when we started playing those few gigs. Like the first one was in Rzeszów, then was like Lublin. And the show in Krakow, I will never forget it because my parents came for the first time, like all the way from Gdynia. And you know, I still didn't have stage clothes or anything. I remember I was playing in your shirt and your leather pants and stuff, you know. So and full corpse paint.
Still got them?
No, I don't think so. But I think the shirt is somewhere there.
I hope so. If you find
still stinky, you know, from that gig.
If you find that, we can just put it up on some auction or something. Just do something good with it.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, yeah. I mean, it was crazy times. I mean, like back then, you know, like what you mentioned, you know. I think I called you from my cell phone because I already had a cell phone that was big as fucking bread. And I did call you, and but it was like the very beginning of that devices in the market. Anyways, everything felt like, you know, it's from another eon basically, and everything went like, I mean, fast, you know, but it's just different times.
Oh,
like
totally
phones,
different.
Fucking letters, different mentality. Everything was slow.
It was slower,
even though it was fast, you know, but still it was way slower. And we took it from there, and that was hell of a ride.
But you know, my mom, after that Krakow gig, you know, I wasn't even 18 yet, you know, so she took me to the bar after the show, like right after the show.
Oh, wow.
And we sit down, and you know, my mom was 18 when I was born, so she was like 35 back then, you know. I'm older than her now, you know. So she took me to the bar and she bought me a beer, and she said like, yeah, now I know why you have to do this. And that was like the final okay to go.
Yeah, the blessing,
you know. And
that's important.
Well, I don't really want to get stuck in that. I just wanted to mention that beginning because it was I appreciate, you know, our relationship, you know, on so many levels, you know, because it's, you know, you changed so much in my life. Like, you know, you gave me a chance to do what I always wanted to do. Then, you know, I went like all the way in. Everything else happened. We're here now. We're even better friends right now, I think, you know. Yeah. And I really value our relationship so much, you know.
Good stuff, man.
So, you know, and so let's go back to what we have now, you know, because like, I changed my life entirely. You know, it's like right now it's my breakthrough. You know, and
one of many.
Yeah, one of many. But you know, Behemoth was the breakthrough.
Yeah.
Then I kind of got lost. You know, but I did what I wanted to do. It was my decision to divide, like to leave the band because I didn't feel it like, you know, 100% anymore. And I think it's worth mentioning it here because we never actually talked officially about, you know, that time. You know, I want you to know that I always valued what we did, you know, and I was like 100%. And what happened then was never connected with the band, you know, actually from my side. It was like, I felt that I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to myself, to the fans. You know, basically, I felt that I have this strength in me or some kind of energy that I have to release, and I have to put 100% of myself over there. You know, so that was actually when people ask me why did I leave Behemoth at that point. You know, because that was like the breakthrough for Behemoth, like for the you know, everything that happened afterwards. And that's why I get a lot of questions like, why then, you know, why that, you know,
right before the shit hit the fan, right?
Yeah.
In a positive way.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I did my band, you know, and now it's like that's gone, and I'm like looking at the past, and you know, you are a person that is always there, you know. And you know, when we did that 25th anniversary,
it was amazing.
When all of the members, like the
pretty much, yeah, pretty like most of them.
You know, I was like, fuck, man, that's like your biggest success. You know, probably one of your biggest success that all of the members that used to be Behemoth were there in one place, and everybody got along. You know, and there was no bad blood or anything.
Yeah, I think that's it's very difficult to like maintain relationships in life, you know, without any damage.
Yeah.
There's always damage, you know, because we're so complicated, we're so complex personalities, we clash, we disagree, which is good. I mean, we should disagree, otherwise, you know, we'll fucking die of boredom. So it's good that we differ. It's good that, you know, it like things fluctuate, that like it's dynamics, and that's amazing. But above that, you know, it's good to just remain a decent human being, you know, and be able to shake hands and hug each other and just leave the emotional bullshit behind, or just just put stuff aside, you know, that is not very important, you know, because what is important is me being a human, you being a human. And it's cool what you mentioned, you know, because yesterday, a big event, big show, you know, Roman is facing like serious health issues, you know, and they have this massive fucking conflict with the original guitarist, original member. And to me, it's absolutely disgraceful of that guy acting as he does, which is just, it's below any quality level, you know, and a humane and humanitarian level, you know. The guy is in need, you know, like, and really, you know, it doesn't.
Do you think it's jealousy?
It's stupidity, it's immaturity, and it's a lot of ego. So sometimes you just put that ego here to the pocket, and just, it wouldn't cost much to go on stage for 2 or 3
especially
songs.
when you're actually former bandmate, which created all this. You know
what? Like when you look at the scene, things like that happen. Even between, like, there's big conflicts out there. You know, we're talking locals, right? We're small local guys, you know. But even think of Metallica. You know, they would still manage to bring fucking Dave Mustaine on stage to perform stuff. You know what I mean? And that is amazing. You can, or Jason Newsted or whatever, you know, there's always animosities. There's always something like bad blood, or just some like, you know, some toxic...
the grudge.
The grudge. And it just, you know, it's not healthy. It's never healthy for hygiene. But sometimes it is what it is, and you fucking can't trespass it. It's there, and it just, okay. And then you have to leave it as it is, you know. But if it's possible to take it to the next level, you know, and just leave that stuff behind, you know, nobody's really perfect. But you know what? And like yesterday's event for me, it was really about celebration of life. So as every Behemoth show, and especially that 25th anniversary, 25th anniversary, it's like a victory of life, you know. It's victory of. It was a very vital experience, you know. So
dude, you know, when I went on that stage, you know, I was like, it's like we never were apart. Almost, I remember.
It felt like yesterday. True.
Yeah, it was like muscle memory, and like you know, and then I started. I didn't play those songs in like 13, 15 years. You know, come on, it's like insane. And I remember me and Seth when we were standing in front of the rehearsal room, when you were rehearsing like 19 songs or something that day with different lineups, and me and Seth, we were standing outside waiting for our cue, and he was checking out like if I remembered the riffs right, and then I figured I was like, you know what? Like 15 years ago, I was showing you those fucking riffs.
That's true.
You know?
But now I tell you, it's officially come out, okay, from my end. So basically, Seth is my bank. So because I have such a fucked up and short memory that I make songs and I show him songs because I know the moment that I turn like the other way to do something else, I go back, I can never remember what I had in mind, you know what I mean? So it's like whenever I show him something, then usually he's the one remembering his parts and my parts. And like, oh, no, that's how you play it, like here and there. Okay, cool. But the same story with my other band, me and that man, of course, you know, like I make like 80% of music, but it's Mateo who shows me my riffs, you know. No, it was here, it was there. Like, okay, thanks, Mateo.
Yeah, because Mateo is like super pedantic about playing. And
he's super anal, and he can drive you nuts for that, you know.
I know.
I mean, last like before the tour that we started now, like he was driving nuts, not myself because I wasn't fucking sharing a room with him, but Kuman did, and Kuman had to every now and then Kuman like, no, fuck, I give up, you know, and he had to leave, just go in the street for like hours to cool down, you know, because Mateo was fucking driving him nuts, you know. He'd be just thinking about like all the details. Oh, how are we gonna make it to the airport? Oh, we're gonna be late. Hey, what about pieces of baggages? You know, we got too many, we got this, we got that. And Kuman was like, man, you're a fucking bassist, you know. Do care about 4 motherfucking strings. The luggages, the flights is none of your fucking business because we are paying someone to do his job and he's professional, so shut the fuck up. Yeah, so he's that, but then I mean, like, I'm just taking piece on him now. But you gotta, you know, render Caesar what Caesar's, you know, and he's amazing, you know. And I really need that people around who'd be more focused than myself because I'm so distracted, and I'm like, and then I don't remember.
So you know, Mateo is actually another guy that we actually have in common because he kind of he moved to Poland to play with Blinded, and we became like super close friends, and we did you know, 2 albums together, and you know, and then he moved along, and you know, my band started to go down, and you know, towards the end, you know, and members were going off, but I know him from that side perfectly, you know, I lived with him, you know, but in the same time, he was the best guy when it comes to keeping everything together, you know, and when it comes to keeping the you know, the performance actually on the highest level, because he always knew it's like no, that's not the note.
Yeah, and like his vocal performance fucking always top notch, you know. He's like. He's even a little bit of a hypochondriac, and like every like second day he would just wake up. I think I'm losing my voice. I'm like, shut up, man. Just have to.
You're gonna be awesome anyways.
Just fucking have a sip of whiskey and it'll be fun. Like, no, seriously, I'm feeling like I'm getting something bad, you know, some infection, whatever. Like,
oh man, I love that redhead Italian, man.
Yeah, but then the other question is like, what the fuck what the fuck is wrong with the Italian moving to Poland? I mean, like, what's wrong with you, man? Just stay in the fucking sunny country, you know, that people just don't give a fuck and they're relaxed, you know, and just move. So, like, hey, Mateo, if you're ever watching this, hands down for that, all right? For moving down here to Poland, because you definitely made his life and his career, like, you enriched that. And same in my case, you know, for me and that man, I think we became band because, like, in the first place, you know, they were pretty much hired guns. Yeah. And now they're like, it's cool, you know. I really like that, you know, me and that man, you got like,
Sasha.
Yeah, but you got like four singers, you know, and they're just swapping, you know, between the songs, and that's amazing, you know. And like, I think I really wanted to make sure that both Sasha and Mateusz stand out. You know, they're not in the back anymore.
You know, I've seen it now because I've been stage teching on your first European tour, and that was a different story because it was like more about you and John back then.
Not anymore.
No, of course not. But I saw the process from behind, you know, and all the John's funny things, you know, on that small nightliner we had, you know, and
funny and not funny.
Funny and not funny, but you know, that's life. Anyways, you know, it's interesting how many, you know, people are actually, we have in you know, they're still around, or we're just meeting like in various combinations, you know, and but it's always you know, for me, it's always you that you are coming back as a friend, as an inspiration, you know, and I value that a lot in you as a human being, you know. Because, you know, going back to the beginning, I was such a rookie, like when it comes to the music, when it comes to, you know, going on tour when I was 17 and everything, and you know, making the funny rookie mistakes with the, we got we have a hotel tomorrow. It's called Nightliner, right? And Nightliner is a tour bus, you know, if anybody wonders.
So he was checking. So he was checking, you know, the tour book. It's like hotel Nightliner, which means we're fucking on a motherfucking bus for 3 or 4 weeks. All right. That's what it means. And he goes like, you know, all the like green head. Oh, cool. We have a hotel tonight. It's called Nightliner. So,
well, but I was excited because I don't think I ever stayed in a hotel. You know, that was double excitement. But you know,
4 wheels.
But what I mean is like, I think we were, you know, coming to that point where we are now. Both you and me, we were, you know, we have a massive background of different, you know, stories and heavy shit going on. But, you know, we both have probably the inner ego fight, you know, like bringing down the ego, you know, and you know, let me finish. It's what I mean is like, I think everybody should think about their own ego, you know, first before they start. You know, judging other people, and you know, you get a lot of shit, you know, coming your way, but it comes with the job, you know, really. But it comes also. I don't really want to go into details and like, you know, talk about the cheap scandals or whatever. It's just about the human side of it, you know.
It is in Poland especially, but not only, even beyond Poland. It's very easy these days to be scandalous, you know? Yeah. And to me, like some of the stories that are happening, it's even embarrassing to talk about it because I'm like, seriously? You're gonna blow that up out of proportions?
Yeah.
Really? That is, I mean, you're gonna pay attention to that? You're gonna give your energy to that and fuel that so we can, like the gossip or whatever, the story can live for another 24 hours? Seriously? Yeah. Okay, good luck, you know. I mean, I'm good with provoking. I'm amazing at poking, at least at something. So I do that because it's fun to me. Yeah. But you know, I'm here to draw conclusions, and the conclusions are not very optimistic.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about like where we are now, like mentally as a society.
Yeah, I see that too.
It's like.
That's why I mentioned it actually. I don't want to go like directly into, because it's a global thing. It's not only you or me. Yeah. Because I get a lot of shit because of what I'm saying now, you know. Yeah. But you know, I never went there, but I feel so good doing what I'm doing right now. Like being honest, you know, just I don't know, being weak publicly, you know.
Or whatever.
But being myself in the first place.
That's the best thing you can.
And you know, and now, actually, it's the first time that I see and I feel the shitstorm in a smaller, of course, in a smaller size than you get. But I kind of can imagine, you know, how it is for you. But in the same time, I know that you are doing some things, you know, on purpose, you know. But what's interesting is that, you know, people are fucking, you know, watching you over like a glass eye, you know, like every move, and they live your life actually. and then they live by the whole judgment, you know, and like, you know, just feeding each other with that.
Oh, he lost his nerves.
But you know,
oh, you motherfucker, you lost his nerves. You're not allowed to.
But how about
to be pissed off about like things? You're like, why not?
Yeah, but you know, you're
I'm exactly the same. Like you.
Why you are not? You know, you shouldn't have like you know. Emotions or mistakes, whatever.
Exactly.
You can do anything. I mean, I don't have to agree with what you are doing, you know, but I'm not judging it. It never is actually changing my vibe towards you, you know, and that's what I was getting from you always, you know, and that's why, you know, I never changed my you know, my perspective, you know, towards you, you know, and overall, you know, when I think about from where I am right now, when I think about the whole, you know, those 20-something years, you know, I really enjoy hanging out with you. You know, I was making mistakes around you, whatever. You know, I was falling apart, whatever. You were always there. You were always calling, and you know, and that's friendship. And you know, and I'm just wondering, can those people say the same thing? You know. Do they really have people that are mean the same to them, or do they only have friends which are, you know, getting the fuel for the things that are coming out to the world? You know, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, in the first place, you know, I can only guess, you know, but why should we talk about other people? We're not the other people. You are yourself, and I'm myself. So, like, I mean, and if there is anything I'm good at. If there is anything, because I'm not sure in the end of the day if I'm good at stuff, but there is one thing that I'm good at. It's being myself. and it's not pretending. Yeah. And that is extremely, if there's any conclusion people can take out of this conversation we're having, that would be the first one that you mentioned, the Hippolyte's quote, that it's amazing. Thanks for bringing it up, because I'm gonna take it further.
All right.
It sounds like truism, but it's just amazing. It's a fucking golden thought that should be, you know, we should pass that torch.
Yeah, about the composition. Or
a job like catching the train, you know. Getting that opportunity, and then the second one just fucking. It just feels super liberating just to be yourself. Okay, you feel like laughing? Fucking laugh. You feel like telling a joke? Fucking go ahead and tell a joke. Oh, it's gonna be a dry, bad joke. Sorry. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever. There's nothing wrong with just falling down. There's nothing wrong with saying sorry, apologizing when needed, but don't be apologetic because the whole fucking world gets offended because you fart. You know what I mean? So exactly. Fuck that. Never bend to that. Never compromise to others people's expectations. If you are having a problem with something I'm doing, deal with it, because that is your problem, not mine.
Exactly, yeah.
That is so easy.
You know, I'm the best example of getting lost in, because I was always into relationships, like interested, and I was always digging and you know, giving a lot of myself to the relationships that I had around me with the people that were close, that I was like creative with, and you know, and I really lost myself there. And I fell into addiction. I fell in, you know, I lost my head basically, you know, recently. And now I realized that it was just because I wasn't myself truly, like completely. I was trying to fit in a way, but stay myself. And I thought, I convinced myself that I am myself. Okay. But then I was myself only when I was using drugs or alcohol. Okay. You know, and then, you know, the big change happened, you know, and now I have this perspective, a different perspective, and all the experiences that are in the past, you know, I am not regretting anything. You know, this whole thing that happened up till now is the biggest lesson that I can that I got, and I see what I was doing wrong, but in the same time, I had to do it to come to, you know, everybody has their time, you know, their moment, you know.
Everyone is having is basically in a process of their own road, like on their own roads and on their own ways and trips, right? And that trips always fluctuates. It just, I mean, if it goes like that, it means you're dead.
Yeah.
But if you're alive, if you just go through stuff, if you're just alive, living your life, it will always go at least like that. If you're like a medium boring person, it goes like that. If you're more interesting, probably, you know. And that if you're like super interesting person, but that also means that when the hyperbole is just it's so intense, that may cause like more damage, more, you know what I mean? It's just more extreme.
That's what I got, you know. I mean, that's probably why I got diagnosed with the bipolar disorder. But you know, it's not something that you can't deal with. You know, it's just like alcohol is not good for you when you're bipolar. You know, drugs are not really good for you when you know, because then I found out. It turned out that I was self-medicating myself, you know, with those things, you know, and my therapist said something great about it. She said, like, man, you were just trying to be yourself, like you were an extrovert from the start, and you were using cocaine to be an extrovert, but you had to use it because you were depressed. Yeah. You know, so that is catch-22 in the end of the day. Exactly.
I mean, you just end up in this blind cycle.
Yeah.
And it's super difficult to get out of it, you know, because you're basically like
it's a circle. It's a circle, and you know the name of the band that I was in when it was happening, Blind Dead. You know. I was blind and dead in the same time, you know. That's why, you know, I can officially say it right now. I mean, like, I can't imagine coming back to that name, you know, ever again. Even though we built up something there, we had the audience, but all the relationships that were there are kind of, they kind of went sideways. It was, of course, my decision, you know, to separate myself from everybody, but that was needed for me to be myself, you know. And you know, that's a new trip, and for the first time in my life I'm sober and I'm making music, and you know, I'm making music with sober people, and you know, and talented, and they actually don't look at me, like don't look up at me like you know, like what should we do? So it's more like, hey, this is it, you know, that's what I got, that's what I got, that's what I got, you know, and it's all like talks about, you know, meaningful things, and you know, and suddenly after 39 years of my life, you know, I got connected to reality for real, and you know, who's the first person that I want to talk to when I'm sober and I'm starting the new trip, you know, the new part of my life, and I'm thinking, well, it's Adam Nergal Darski, because, you know, because you're the trigger for everything that happened, you know, and you were the train, basically, or the captain of the train.
I'm on a night train. Cool.
So yeah, man, kudos for that, you know, and yeah. Well,
by the way, sorry. Do you mind if I keep my? Some people get very offended because that's too close to your face, maybe.
Can I have?
I hope not. I just tried to.
Oh, the coffee smells better now.
I know. It smells like shit, huh?
Well,
no. If it disturbs you, just tell me, right? I check it off.
Well, no, it never did. You know, we've been in worse positions in the vans and everything. You know. I remember there was a.
Sometimes when I think, like when I go back, you know, to like in retrospect, some of the like. You know, let's call it gypsy times. Yeah. Because we travel like fucking gypsies across the universe, the whole globe, you know. And you know what? Like when people ask me, oh, so how long you've been practicing yoga? Like 4 years now. But then no. I started practicing yoga first time I get on a van and travel from Łódź to fucking Trondheim, 30 hours drive in the middle of winter, just doing some.
We were sleeping on the floor.
Just doing some asana that I wasn't even aware that it was yoga. You know, I was there. I was doing that. So that was crazy.
Dude, I think the most crazy trip we did together was we went for one show to Portugal, or two shows maybe,
Yeah.
right? With this small van from Poland, and we drove like, there was no hotels on the way.
Nothing.
So we drove like for 38 hours or something.
Yeah, straight up 35 hours. And remember Caramba, the driver?
Of course, I will
He
never
was
forget.
like no drugs, of course, and like no alcohol, obviously,
Yeah.
because he was a driver. He would just turn colors, like switch colors, you know, on his face, you know, like from pale to red through green, so like all shades of gray, you know, like on the face, and like on the side, like no water, just a big chunk of coffee,
Yeah.
and just that coffee, and just pissed off, and like go.
Yeah, he was a wolf. Yeah,
He was just out of this world, you know. And I remember, actually, by the way, because you started like you're very like vocal about your issues.
yeah.
So when I look back, I don't know if you remember. No, maybe you don't remember because like it was a slight delay, but sorry, a slight detail. But I had like a condition with my heart. And I remember when we were traveling there, I was because we did 2 shows in Portugal, and a week later we started a European tour.
Oh yeah.
And
right.
when going when going to Portugal for 35 hours, I was having a very disturbing and weird sensation in my body, which was the heart arrhythmia.
Okay.
So my heart would just go like off the beat and just going up and down, and it was weird, you know, and I was very concerned about that. So one day I would just wake up and the heart would just go like, instead of like tum tum, tum tum, it would just go tum, tum tum tum, tum tum, and I would just start panicking. Next day it was another rhythm. Next day it was another rhythm. So like next day I'm like, I was hoping that it's gonna go away. I'm like, holy shit, you know, and back then I was very hypochondriac, you know, unlike today. Back then I was just pay.
I remember, yeah.
I was just pay attention. Oh, I think something.
You
wrong.
felt something was coming, probably. Yeah.
Something was coming, exactly. And what happened? I checked myself into hospital. I don't know if you remember the whole deal. We were like that close. Oh no, you were not in the band. It was.
I think it was later,
No, you were in the band. Shit, now I don't remember.
I remember something, but you know the thing about those times and that trip, that I was drunk all the way. Like that trip, because me and Novi and Brovar, we were just drinking ourselves to sleep all the time on that trip, because it was just unbearable, you know, to sit in that van. So whenever we were waking up, we were just like opening. I mean, how old were we? Like I was 19 maybe, something like that. So, you know, your body can take a lot back then, but I might not remember some of the things, you know.
I do remember. And what happened, like I realized that years later, you know, because I was thinking that I'm having some heart issues. Yeah. But no, it was like years later I realized that it was my neurosis that started back then.
Okay.
I became neurotic. It's called anxiety. Yeah. So if you have your issue, I have my issue, which is anxiety. And I'm a victim of anxiety. And every now and then I had to support myself with medications to cool down. Because
I know anxiety very well.
And I even had like a quite serious attack when I found myself alone in the middle of Alps, you know, on the lift in a train.
Okay.
I got an attack.
You got like a panic attack?
Panic, like like full-on panic attack that would just take away like everything from me, like all the self-confidence, and like in no time I forgot how to snowboard, so I couldn't go back because I was falling off all the time. It was so weird, so strange, and very. I just felt like it's weird, you know, so I had to check in, you know, to the doctor, get medicines just to cool that down, you know, so, and I have absolutely no problems to, you know, sincerely talk about it. You know?
Exactly, because, you know, I had no idea about that, but I feel you totally, because,
but it started then, you know, in like in 20s, you know, and then I would just go through life, you know, with different sensations that I would ignore, like some...
shove it over the carpet or whatever.
Like I think, like, it's good to just, you know, like don't exaggerate, you know, don't overreact, you know, some like it's body, it's you know,
it's
things
chemistry
happen.
and
So like, but if it gets to the, you know, to the place, like maybe you should just go and consult it with a specialist, you know, with a doctor, and it's never. Sometimes it's too late, but if it's not too late, go and check yourself in, you know, and find out, you know, because a lot of times, you know, we think like we're so aware of who we are. Are we?
No, actually, you know,
I think the whole fucking life is a process of like learning, you know, who I am and what is behind that fucking shell.
But you know, it's so important that you also said it out loud, because you know that's the problem, which I realized that is happening in the men's world. You know, the whole ego,
macho.
the macho thing that we are not supposed to be weak or anything, and or admit to our.
It's stereotypes, and we're victims of stereotypes.
Yeah, so you know, I was hiding, I was shoving it under the carpet for most of my life, you know, and I had symptoms, but you know, I reached the bottom, and I woke up. Luckily, you know, it was almost too late, but I did it. I went to the doctor. And then everything changed, you know, but it was my decision, you know, it was the most, because I could continue like that. I could be forced to go to the doctor, and I could do that and just take medication, but don't give a shit, you know, and that nothing would happen. I wouldn't be where I am right now. And, but I really accepted it. You know, that's the crucial thing. And I did the coming out, even though at that point I was not even able to fucking write, you know, on my own. I was so fucking down, like, you know, nailed to the bed, basically. And, you know, my body was exhausted, and brain, you know, after the manic state for several months, you know, and extended with the heavy usage of cocaine and everything, you know. But, you know, when I cleared out, and I started the therapy, and I met my therapist on the tour that I did with you guys in Australia.
Again, bang.
Yeah, damn, you know, bam. So I met my therapist. Hey, Lily.
Hey, Lily.
And she's from Australia, and you know,
and she's not a kangaroo.
No, she's not a kangaroo. No, and she's got a sister that is not a kangaroo too.
Fuckable then.
Ask Malta. But you know,
someone's gonna remember like when we were talking, you know, how the world, like how social media works today. Someone's gonna take that out, and they're gonna make a headline, Nergal misogynist or something like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like
of course, like out of the context, completely.
Out of the context, they were like, oh, see, he's a bad guy, he's an evil guy.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm an evil guy. Fuck you.
Yeah, but just to end that, you know, it's well, you know, I realized, because people actually, the feedback I got from the coming out was so mind blowing, because I thought I'm gonna be judged, and like, you know, it was so fucking scary at that point, you know, because I was weak, you know, so I was scared as hell to say it out loud, you know, and then, you know, I realized that what I started was a good thing for a lot of people in my, like, you know, like, let's say friends from other bands, you know, all around the world, you know, started to actually, after a while, when I started saying more about it and then vlogging and everything, I got the feedback from people that are actually realized, and they got courage, you know, they found courage in what I started doing to go at least check themselves, you know, because they realize they have similar symptoms, you know, and you know, and then I realized it's a big problem in the men's world, basically, because there is not a lot of research even on men's depression, you know, and how to deal with, you know, because men are not really fully honest in therapy and in, you know, because of that macho thing, because of that ego thing.
Yeah, it's the circumstances that like put man in that cage, so to say, the macho cage, let's call it the men's cage, and there's a lot of cool stuff happening in the men's cage.
Oh yeah.
Let's leave it, you know, let's leave it there. Let's leave it in the cage, you know. But then, you know, you become that hamster, that little animal there that is just, you know, limited and restricted.
Buzzing.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not healthy. What is healthy is just you know, get out of that cage, get out of that box, breathe in, breathe out, and fucking if there's something on your liver, fucking spit the fuck out.
If there's something in your balls, take it out. You know?
Yeah, exactly, balls to the wall. Yeah. You're right, and in the end of the day, that is cool, you know. And just forget about like there's always gonna be judgmental people out there.
Yeah.
And that's like people are people, you know, quoting a classic, and that's what it is. But don't think you're not other people. You're yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have to be. That's how I see that. You know, I need to be my own best friend.
Yeah.
In the first place, I'm very thankful for people around me, and I have quite a few good people around me that I know that if some shit happens, you know, I'm gonna have full support, and I know it. And there are no pretenders. There's always pretenders.
Oh yeah.
And there's always like the liches and stuff, you know. But I know for a fact that there's people who sincerely care about myself, you know, and I'm thankful for that. But before I count on other people, I have to count on myself.
Oh yeah.
So hey, Nigel, are you your best friend? Look in the mirror and answer that. Do you take care of yourself? Do you like, you know, lead yourself through life, you know, so you don't get hurt, you know what I mean? Just be self-aware, and that is the starting point, you know. Some people say it's egocentric or whatever. I think it should be, you know. That's what, like you said,
in a healthy way, yeah.
In a healthy way, you know. You said that word ego, which could be like, oh, maybe a leitmotif of that conversation, and maybe not, I don't know. But that egocentric, you gotta be that, you know, before you
give that ego
away.
Yeah,
exactly. Just make sure ego. The way I see that, the ego is an animal. You know,
yeah.
It's like I'm a dog lover. Okay, so, but if you let dog reign over you,
oh no, I totally know it. Yeah,
you got. No, it should work the opposite way. Otherwise, it might hurt you. It might bite you. You don't want that, you know. It's like, it's definitely...
Or it's going to be unhappy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So ego is exactly the same. It can be a useful and amazing tool to achieve amazing goals. Fucking climb Mount Everest. Yeah. Fucking record records. Go on stage. But without ego, like when they say, oh, this guy is so ego-driven. Man, if it wasn't for my fucking ego, I wouldn't be able to go up on stage for 5 minutes last night and just go nuts and just make show and stuff. That is ego. But then, off stage, I can put that ego back and just be the friendless animal.
But never deny it, you know.
Never
deny it. Keep it on the leash, you know.
Exactly. You have to coexist with that in the best possible harmony, right? And that's it, you know. It's harmony. It's
yeah, man.
Well, cheers to that.
Cheers. So let's talk about
sex, baby.
Fuck, man, we did so much of that. Yeah. Oh man.
Don't even start.
No, let's not even go
start.
There.
No.
It was if you saw the Crush Fuck Create DVD, there was some bits of it there.
Yeah, and when I think of that, you know, it's good that you brought that up. You know, I mean, like I was like, when making that, I think it's awesome and it's great, but it was done back then and it should stay there. But I would never ever repeat, and I'm not talking about fun, because fun is good to be repeated. That's why it's fun. But never again doing like that kind of release ever in my life. That it's just in that period of life where you are as like,
it should stay there, right?
It should stay there.
It's kind of awkward when people bring that up, you know, and like
not very often, you know, but maybe like when.
But for me, it is, you know, sometimes because I was shown there from a weird side, you know. I mean, it's the truth, you know.
We were all weirdos, you know.
We were weirdos, but we were so fucking tired as well all the time, and that was just crushing our heads, you know, like 200 shows a year or something, you know.
Yeah.
That was crazy, you know. And we were all the time, you know, like together, and that you know drove us to doing really fucking nasty shit towards each other,
and each other, and people around us.
Oh yeah, like, but you know, I looked at myself when I was making a decision of leaving Behemoth. You know, I looked at myself in the mirror, just like you said, just a few sentences back, and I was like, "Who is that monster that you're becoming?" You know, that was one of the you know main reasons that I was feeling that myself, like I was becoming not only somebody else, but that I want to be, or I am, or I feel I maybe am. I was becoming a monster, and I saw that, you know, and I saw that, and you know, I didn't really like that, you know. I was like, oh, this is the side that I should actually, you know, talk to myself and like keep it on the leash, you know. I think
that's cool that you had that kind of reflection, because lately I've been like asking myself, like really, like it was pretty much a dialogue, me and myself, you know, like, okay, I try to get out of, you know, what I am or what I do, and just ask, hey, is this cool? Is this what you do? Cool. Is this how you talk to that guy? Cool. And lately I had that phase that I was like, just think about it. Just pay attention. Think about it, because maybe you're hurting someone.
Yeah.
So hey, just be, you know, it's good to sometimes just pause, like for a second, and think, and maybe you shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't be posting that. And I'm like, maybe you're right. I'm talking to myself now.
Yeah,
Nigel,
yeah.
what do you think? So the devil got the problem with me is that I don't usually, like in the movies you get the devil and the angel.
So you
right?
have Nergal and Nigel, right?
No, I have devil and devil. So so I got two helpers, you know, that give me this brilliant ideas from every now and then.
Yeah, and you know, coming back to actually the number that is next to age, which stands for Havoc.
I would put 69, but that's how old I am.
But you know, I was 23 when I did that mirror thing, you know, with the monster.
Yeah.
And when I left Behemoth, you know, I was 23, and I didn't really pay attention to that number in my life, like not until this record, which is the last Blinded record. And it turned out that the place we made it had a number 23. It was in the middle of the fucking woods, and you know, and it was the last minute booking. We lost another place that we were supposed to. That was also in the woods, you know, but it turned out it's just not good, you know, for what we're gonna do there. So I searched the net, and I just chose the first place that seemed okay. And you know, and we ended up there. We stayed for 8 days. I had no idea that there was a number.
Stayed for 23 days.
Yeah. No, but
23
actually
hours
later on, when Bartosz Hervey did the trailers for the album, and he was filming the house, and then I saw the number 23, and I was like, fuck. There's so much 23 in my life, you know. And then I realized that there is a 23 song on the first album I recorded with you guys, and then I realized that my grandfather, when he was going for the Polish championship on 3,000 meters running, you know, he had a number 23, you know. And then I was just like, I mean, I'm far from being obsessed about it. It's just an interesting thing, you know, how much 23 is in my life and all around the world, basically.
Yeah, I think it's just some kind of play.
Yeah,
you know, a play thing, and it's cool too because it can inspire you, basically, you know.
It does.
So it did inspire you to do that, you know. And it's nothing wrong with just, you know.
No, I'm always laughing when it's
playing and just. I always do that, you know, because that just makes my life more joyful. Yeah. You know, that's what I mean, I don't pay too much attention, you know, and I'm not going to start a sect because of, you know, that number or 69 or whatever. Yeah. 69 would be, or wouldn't be the worst sect, by the way.
Yeah.
very joyful.
Yeah,
but I'm just trying to be like, you know, like.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it's cool. Just pay attention. That's what I call magic. That's this magic connections, you know, that you can make.
It got a little bit, you know, more interesting for me when I started digging, you know, on that number, and then it turned out that the angle of planet Earth, you know, is 23 degrees, and then I realized that there's 23 chromosomes that both partners give to make a kid, you know, right. And yeah, there's so many of those things. Julius Caesar was stabbed 23 times, you know.
All right.
that's why Ulver had the 23 as well in their lyrics and stuff, you know.
Okay, wow, nice.
And I had no idea. Like Michael Jordan had 23, David Beckham, you know, and a lot of successful people had the number.
Michael Jordan was stabbed too?
Yeah, no, not yet. He's still smoking cigars, as far as I know.
23 cigars a day.
No, but yeah, I was thinking, you know, what to do with this podcast thing, and then I was like, well, you know, that number is.
Are you still looking for a band name? That could be a band name with the age.
It could be, but it is strictly you know, individual, my thing, you know, and what I am doing with Roger and Pavel right now. It's a collective work, you know. So
it's three of you now, right?
It's three of us.
So maybe threesome would be a good name.
Yeah, and we also thought about the crippled people, you know.
Crippled people, yeah. Them crippled people.
Yeah,
really good.
So what else did I want to say? I mean, like
what we can do, we can just do like boom and have a short cigarette break.
Exactly,
and come back.